Are you looking to grow your dental practice and attract top-tier new patients? Discover the potential of digital marketing with a personalized strategy session. Join Lila Stone, the marketing director at Equa, for an exclusive 90-minute consultation. Lila and her team will dedicate 6 hours before your meeting to create a customized marketing plan specifically for your practice. This valuable opportunity is free of charge and comes with no commitments. Visit www.insuranceuntangledorg/MSM to schedule your meeting with Lila today. You'll also receive a free analysis report so you can start transforming your practice through the power of digital marketing.
You are now listening to another episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast, where we explore the various challenges faced by dental practices due to their reliance on insurance. Join us in this podcast as we dive deep into the issues surrounding dental insurance dependence and offer practical solutions and strategies to help you take control of your practice's financial future.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. My name is Ben Tuinei, and I'm one of your co-hosts on this podcast that's really dedicated to helping practices untangle the mess of insurance that we're dealing with, that we're all dealing with every day in and day out. Today, I have my co-host and good friend Naren with me. We're going to be talking about some fun and interesting marketing concepts. Naren, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ben. And yourself?
Doing wonderful, thank you. Always great to chat with you. This is an important topic right now that we've sort of selected to kind of address, the slowness that you're seeing in a lot of dental practices, mostly dental practices that are not really engage in a really good marketing strategy or just don't have a marketing strategy at all. So what we want to talk about is the topic, why isn't my marketing working? We want to talk about some of the top reasons why dental practices struggle in this area, and then of course solutions on how we can fix that. So Naren, my first question for you is, if my marketing isn't working, where should I start looking for, in terms of the problem? Like, how do I find a problem? What are some of your thoughts there?
Absolutely. There's a few places I would start looking if your marketing is not working. Number one is, do you have a retention problem? I know it's not a marketing problem, but I want to start there because if you are not able to keep your patients, you will have a revolving door, right? So it doesn't matter how good or bad your marketing works, you'll never have enough patients because the patients you attract don't stay with you. Now, most practices who have 5-star reviews, hundreds of 5-star reviews, probably don't have this issue. But if this is you, then that's what I would start looking at. So if you have a retention problem, I would fix it. If your patients come once but don't come back, why is that? Is it because you're not, you don't have the capabilities to keep them happy, or they just don't feel that, that connection, that relationship with your practice? Another place I would start looking at is, how many clients are you losing? Because if you are losing 5 clients a month due to attrition, then you have to at least make up that 5 just to stay even, leave alone growing your practice, right? Mm-hmm. So I would look at, how many clients you're losing. If you're losing 15, then of course you need to have a marketing plan that's going to bring in 15. The next place I would start looking at is how many new patients are you getting and where they're coming from. And of course, I would use call tracking and lead tracking to know, how many I'm getting from my different marketing sources. So if you are using a search engine optimization, then you need to have call tracking set up for that. If you're using ads, you need to have call tracking set up for that. And then I would look at what my conversion rate is. Now, let's say the phone is ringing, but for some reason you're not able to book appointments. So these are some of the things that I would be looking at. So I'll look at, do you have a revolving door problem where your patients come but don't stay? Or do you have, are you losing too many patients? And if so, how many do you need to replace? Then how many are you getting from different sources? And finally, are those new patient phone calls or new patient leads turning into appointments? What percentage are booking versus not booking? So those are the 4 things I would look at first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I often hear, Naren, that, online presence could potentially backfire and hurt practices, especially those that aren't paying attention to it, right? Like negative reviews that are floating here and there. You Google a doctor's name and, you find all kinds of, or even just one star review, and that's the only review they have. So as it pertains to this whole revolving door or a problem with marketing and retention, do you think that online presence could potentially hurt marketing efforts if not done properly?
Absolutely. Today, 95% of new patients who are finding you online, at least 95%. I think the number is more like 96, 97%. Why? We live on our devices. We use the internet and we use the device in our pocket to, learn about things, to make decisions about services we need and, doctors we want to go see. So definitely online presence is really important. And I'll get into some of the basics. So number one is when people are looking for things, let's say they are typing in different search terms related to dentistry, are you showing up? If you are showing up and you're showing up for free, that's called organic search engine optimization or Google SEO. That means you're going to do really, really, really well. If you're not showing up when people are typing these search terms, and there are hundreds of these, then of course you are missing out, right? The ones who are showing up consistently for free for hundreds of search terms, they're going to do really well. And the next place I would look at is Google reviews. It's not just enough to have hundreds of reviews. You also need to get new reviews every month. So at the very minimum, you should be getting 10 to 15, ideally 5-star love letter reviews every month. So I look at how am I doing on SEO, in terms of different keywords. I'll, look at Google Analytics. And then I'll also really look at, am I getting 10 or more reviews, ideally 15 or more reviews, ideally 5-star paragraph reviews, what I call love letter reviews every month. If those things are happening, that means at least, it's not a real issue, your online presence.
Right. Yeah. No, that's excellent. I often think about online presence or just presence in general, Naren, like from a general marketing perspective, and this whole thing, called branding. I have mixed feelings on branding. I'm not an expert with it, so I don't really know the right answers here and there. But as it pertains to branding, I think most doctors are like me. I'm not sure how my branding ties into a marketing effort. But do you know if you could tell if you have a branding problem that's tied to your inefficient marketing? No.
Yeah, I think a lot of people chase the tails when it comes to branding. A lot of people think branding is the colors, the logos, what we tell people it is. And unfortunately, it's the furthest from the truth. Branding is what people say about you. So for example, if you think of an Apple, what do people say about Apple? Apple products, last for a long time. Apple brand stands behind their products. They make, high quality stuff. Their products are beautifully designed. That's what people say, right? Of course, Apple wanted it, so they created a product and created an experience that made people want to say it. And they, of course, confirm it by asking for reviews, asking for feedback, and confirming if what people are saying is what they wanted to say. Now, a great place to learn about your brand is to go and read, 20 Google reviews, 30 Google reviews, and especially those paragraph reviews that I was alluding to. And if they are saying certain things consistently, it could be a positive brand or a negative brand. Oh, the team is rude. If that keeps coming up, that's a negative brand. You want to fix it. Or if they're saying, oh, the team and the doctor are, amazing. They treat me like family. Then, of course, for those patients, that relationship is important. And they keep highlighting the fact that how much you care and how you treat them, right? Or if they keep saying, you're using the latest technology and that keeps coming up, that means that's something they care about. That's your brand, right? Or if they talk about, I used to be afraid of going to the dentist, but after coming here, I love coming here. They just, put me at ease. They perhaps you are a sedation practice. So to start reading your reviews and figure out what is it that about your practice that a lot of people keep repeating. So usually there'll be 2 or 3 things they'll keep repeating. So that is your brand. Then what I would do is I would try to lean into that. I would try to, do, morning huddles, different things to lean into that and create that brand and or strengthen that brand.
That's awesome. I think that's probably the best answer that I've heard about branding. Branding is what people think about you, about your business.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. What about, Naren, I'm thinking, hearing what you're saying with regards to these different areas of marketing, right? Like how to fix these marketing problems that doctors don't even know they have or may know that they have. But what about this whole component of the way you market and what that does in terms of attracting the type of person that comes to your office? So the reason why this comes to mind is you mentioned something that brought up a thought when I was co-director of a marketing. I was co-director over marketing. I was over all things insurance for the first DSO, well, for the DSO that I work for, first job in dentistry, that is. And we did free cleanings. And what we found, the advertisement was free cleanings, but what we found is that we attracted a lot of people that just wanted free stuff. They came in for their free cleanings, but they never came back. But the ones that did stay, they were just problem patients because they always expected big discounts and free, right? So as it pertains to attracting patients to the practice through marketing efforts, what happens if we consistently bring in the wrong type of patient? How do we know if they're the wrong or the right type of patient with the approach we're taking?
Yeah, great question. So the way I think about marketing is it's helping people find you, especially those who have a need for what you can do for them, and then influencing them to, and then getting them to like you and choose you, right? So helping people find you, then getting them to like you and choose you. Now, your branding is how people think of you, right? If you're the guy who keeps putting, I know in the old days, we used to have Groupons. And if you're the guy who kept putting Groupon ads and so forth, you're going to be seen as the Groupon practice, right? Where I go for half price stuff or free stuff. And unfortunately, you're 110% right. Especially when in healthcare, people think free means low quality. They really think you are like the bottom of the barrel because you're so bad that the only way you're going to get anything is through free. I mean, of course, that's one of the problems with PPO patients, right? They don't pay for anything. Their first question is it covered by insurance? So in their mind, if it's not free, it's not worthwhile. And unfortunately, the more they think see you as free, the less value they see in you. So you don't want to, the last thing you want to do is to be associated as free. I mean, do you ever see Apple discounting their products 20%, 30%? They never do. You only can buy Apple products for full price. That's one of the reasons we think Apple is a great product. I mean, if they keep offering sale here, sale there, discount here, discount there, we won't value the product. It'll be seen as, a low value product in the eyes of consumers. So I think you want to make sure that, you have a wide net when it comes to helping people find you. So for example, if you do sedation, people should find you when they're Googling sedation or anything to do with sedation, pain-free dentistry, painless dentistry. There's all kinds of phrases and keywords. And then some people will type in zip codes and city names and near me and all kinds of things in addition to the first word like pain-free or painless or sedation. So you want to make sure that you have a wide net when people find out about you. Like, for example, if I'm Apple, I want everyone who needs a phone to know that Apple is one of the choices, right? You want them to consider Apple. Of course, the way they control who they are attracted to is by experience and by also pricing, right? If you price things at a mid-level or high, then you're going to attract people who value quality versus you price things for free or at a low end. Then, of course, you're going to attract people who are looking for that free or low end. And they'll treat you like the free or low end they think you are because that's the message you're sending them. So make sure your marketing is wide. It's attracting everyone who can benefit from you. But when it comes to the experience and your pricing, make sure it is tiered. It's customized based on like what kind of a person do you want your clients to be. Like Apple doesn't attract people who want the cheapest phone. Apple attracts people who are willing to pay even 2 or 3 times as much for the same phone from a technical perspective, but for a better name and a better brand and better experience with the Apple logo on it.
Yeah. I think, trusted brands, we all kind of have our favorites, right? But we, like Costco is a good example. We go to Costco all the time and we feel we're getting, I don't know if we're getting really good value from a savings perspective, but it's just a habit for us, right? We pay that membership fee and we get our dividend that comes back and it pays for our membership fee. So we keep going, So that kind of leads, Naren, with what you said on the whole part about attracting the right kind of patient for your practice. Let's say you're doing multiple different marketing approaches. Should you be tracking results from each of those approaches? And if so, why?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because a lot of doctors I speak to, they spend, some spend, 45% if they are a fully PPO practice, because technically, for every dollar they collect, 45% is given, invisible check to the insurance company, either in the form of, adjustments to what you are, what the insurance company pays you, or they control your fees by not letting you charge your usual and customary fees, right? So you're spending money on marketing anyways, even if you're not writing a check, and even if you're a PPO plan. Now, on the high end, you might be, running ads on a magazine, and that's of traditional marketing. And it might cost you $1,000 a new patient, $700 a new patient, $500 a new patient. But if you're not tracking, like how many patients are you getting and how much you're spending, you have no idea. Now, the last thing I would tell you is don't ask your patients how they heard about you. Use some type of technology to track. And the reason is people will tell you what they saw last. For example, you have a huge billboard outside the door. I bet 90% of the people will say, I saw your billboard. Just because that's what they saw last, right? I mean, it's a confirmation bias or recency bias where whatever happened last is what they remember. So you don't want to do that. Instead, you want to put a tracking number or a tracking link so you know exactly what they did before they went to that page and called your office. So for example, if it's a Google ad, then, put a number there for the Google ad. So you know that those calls came from Google ads. If it's search engine optimization, then for all your search engine marketing should have a unique number for that. If it's social media ads, then again, social media ads should have a unique number. So have unique ways of tracking how people are finding out. And then if you find out that, for example, that print mailer you sent out is costing you $700 a new patient versus your SEO is costing you $60 a new patient, then of course put more money into SEO because it's costing you the least. So you can now start adjusting where you are allocating your money, where you're allocating your marketing dollars based on what's working the best for you from a cost per patient perspective.
Yeah. I imagine that if you do that, you can sort of identify what's working, what's not, and what's working, and when what's working sort of starts to get a little stagnant, right? and stuck. So let's say you're doing all that, Naren, and you find that your marketing approach it feels stuck and it's not progressing. And you don't know how to fix it. Like, well, what would you recommend in that situation?
Yeah, I would recommend booking what I call a marketing strategy meeting. And the link for that is insuranceuntangledcom/MSM for marketing strategy meeting, insuranceuntangledcom/MSM. It's a great opportunity for you to really find out where you stand. So the team at Equa, by the way, I'm the CEO and founder. What we will do is we will research you, meaning we will look at you, your competition in a 30-mile radius, and we'll tell you how well you are doing or how poorly you are doing when it comes to marketing. If you're doing extremely well, then that's a great thing, right? Of course, just keep doing what you're doing. But on the other hand, if some areas you need to improve, we'll give you a report card. We'll tell you where are you getting A's and where you're getting B's and where you're getting C's. And then also if you're getting a C or a B, we'll give you a plan on how do we turn this around into an A. What actions do you have to take between now and over the next 12 months to make sure everything you're doing with regards to online marketing turns into A's. And now that you have a report card and a plan, now you can do something about it. I know I'm giving you high-level advice and insights on, how to think about marketing and the do's and the don'ts and so forth. But hopefully you need a specific plan, right? Because every situation is different. Your competitors are different. Your market is different. So you need a custom plan based on who you are and what where you are.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good plan, and a good review of your marketing strategy on a regular basis is a good idea. So check out that link in the podcast notes here, the show notes, insuranceuntangledcom/MSM to book that marketing strategy meeting with Naren and his team. I can attest to our listeners that we've had clients of our own that have done that, and every single time they report to me that they're very grateful and they were impressed with the fact that what was reported to them turned out to be some really good actionable items to turn marketing around for some of these practices. So thank you, Naren, for that recommendation. So Naren, we really appreciate your time today. This has been an amazing episode. We want to thank you for your thoughts and, of course, wisdom. It's always great learning from you, and I particularly love what you said about branding. So thank you for that. And to our listeners, we want to thank you again for joining us today on another amazing episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends and those on social media or anybody that you feel might want to find this content. Of course, give us some reviews on any platform for podcasts that you're currently using. And don't forget to check out our website for upcoming webinars that we do host quarterly, insuranceuntangledcom, to get all that fun stuff. So We wish you all a wonderful week. And until we meet again, we wish you the best of success. Take care, everybody.